The first piece of film ever created was made in the year of 1877. This film was under the
Wow.
title of Test. We found it in a warehouse that belonged to my best friend's long-dead great-grandfather. As the title says, it was simply a test film and nothing more. Or that is what the title would lead you on to believe. Back in those days, a recording could only go on for less than a minute. Anyone going into this wouldn't expect much.
Oh,
Surprise,
that's interesting.
it wasn't
That's
much
interesting.
at first. This film was like all early films,
But it
black,
is just a
white,
creepypasta, so.
and soundless. Also incredibly dull. It was 35 seconds long and consisted of a man wearing a black suit walking on an empty sidewalk and a large crowd of people on the sidewalk opposite of him. It was nothing special, and again, it was only a test. But one thing was very strange about this film. After viewing it 10 times in one sitting, we started to notice the small changes that would occur every time we watched it. Sometimes, a man sitting down on a bench would be slightly moved over to the right or left. Sometimes, a woman wearing
What the
what
hell?
looked to be a light grey dress
That makes
would be
no
wearing a dark
sense.
grey dress. It was just small, almost unnoticeable changes. This was fascinating to the few that watched this film, including myself. This was also completely impossible, but somehow
Yeah,
it
that
was
makes no
happening.
sense.
The small group and I continued to watch for about 10 minutes. The changes became bigger, more noticeable, more terrifying. One time, it was a minor car accident, and the two drivers came out yelling at each other. Nothing too
What
bad.
the hell?
Another time, it was a couple arguing. Then, we got 20 minutes in, and things changed drastically. Sometimes the crowd of people walking would change into a crowd of people fighting, brutally assaulting each other using blades, blunt weapons, and sometimes guns.
What?
Sometimes
What the
the
hell?
crowd would
Oh
be
my
replaced by
god.
a pile of bloody,
Jeez.
sometimes dismembered bodies.
This is
Things
dark.
just got worse and worse from there.
This is bad.
A man slamming a baby repeatedly on the pavement.
Ah, that is
A
cruel.
woman gutting a
That's
man
messed up.
while a child shoved her own thumbs into her very own eyes.
This is messed up.
A man in a wheelchair set on fire and pushed down the street between the two sidewalks.
Oh my
Horrible,
god.
awful things happened, and they just got
This is just-
progressively
this is
worse
really bad.
and worse.
Why would you do this?
After
Jeez.
about 35 minutes, we all started hearing sound coming from the film. This was also impossible. Every film made back then was incapable of having
This might not be
sound.
real, but it's a
This
creepypasta.
made
But
things so much worse. It's one thing to just watch
still
people die,
it's still
but
messed
having
up.
to hear their cries and screams and such makes it so much harder to bear. We could now hear the sound of knives cutting through the flesh of the victims, the screams of the children
Oh
as they were
god.
tortured, the sounds of explosions coming from off-screen. Eventually, the building behind the sidewalk opposite the lone man standing had disappeared completely and showed off two towers side by side, the Twin Towers. We all knew what was coming next. The
Oh
first plane
no.
hit, next play. The second plane hits, next play. People are jumping off the building and hitting the ground, making horrible sounds. This film was
Oh,
made
no.
in 1877. There should be no possible way for this
It makes
to be
absolutely no
happening.
sense.
It showed off
What?
multiple other tragedies. The Columbine shooting, VTech, that Colorado theater shooting, public executions by the Nazis, and many
Oh
more.
my god.
That's when I noticed one thing hadn't changed this whole time. The man in the black suit, walking on the sidewalk, hadn't changed once at all.
The
His
hell?
movements, suit, face, hair color,
What?
skin color, height,
Yeah, that is
everything
weird.
remained the exact same. The sidewalk, as well, never changed. This is when I gave him the moniker the Death Bringer.
The
Eventually,
death
I
ringer.
started to feel
Oh.
physically and mentally sick. I felt like I was going to vomit. I felt tired, ridiculously hungry, insane, dizzy, cold. I felt like I was dying. I passed out on around 60 minutes of viewing. I woke up hours later. Apparently the others had passed out as well.
Oh, what
We
the
were all
hell?
bleeding from our nose and mouth. We looked up and saw
Oh.
one last play on the projector. It was the death bringer, walking on the sidewalk outside of the building
Oh
we
my
were watching in the
god.
film. When he reached the end of the street this time, he started turning his head to the building, and then the projector died. Since then, we have had the film taken from us by what I assume to be the FBI or CIA people or something like that. We were told not to say anything, but as you can see, that didn't stop me from talking. Not like anyone is going to believe me. That's why those guys aren't even keeping an eye on me.
Oh.
Well, at least I hope not. Anyway, we were then taken to a hospital to be checked out. Surprisingly, we had nothing wrong with us physically, but mentally was the complete opposite of okay. Since then, my memories of that night have become very blurry. Initially, I started writing this as an attempt to remember more of the incident, but as I continued to write, I found out that I really don't want to remember. I don't want to remember a goddamn thing.
Yeah, this
I have
story's
nightmares
messed up.
every night of horrible, awful things now.
Why would you want to remember it?
Something
This,
like that
of
film would have
course.
shown.
I would never want to remember any
It's
of
been
that.
that way
Hell
for the
no.
past year, and I've had
Hell no.
it. As for my friends that were in that group, I haven't heard anything from them, and they've since been reported missing. Apparently
Missing?
this happened over a time
Oh.
span of 1 year, but I didn't even know until I
Wow.
attempted to reach one of them through their family. I didn't keep in contact with them. I didn't really want to. If I had to talk to them, that would only result in my memories of that awful night becoming even clearer. To be honest, I was relieved to hear that they were missing. Since they are gone, my memories of that night will be forever obscured. I guess I knew that I really didn't want to remember that night subconsciously. I see no reason to keep going on like this. Ever since that day, I stopped going outside less and less. I am now starving. but I
Why?
can't build up the courage to go out.
Why?
Because sometimes at night, when I look outside, I swear I see a man in a black suit walking on the sidewalk opposite of my house.
Oh god, what the? Oh, that's creepy. Alright, guys, this is about to end in a second, but guys, that was. I found the first film ever. No, I found the first feature film, I think that's what it's called. Creepypasta. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. Also, hit the bell so you don't miss any more of my reactions and any of my other videos. And guys, I will have the link to the original video down below. I'll see you guys later. Peace.